All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another Green Square Talks Battlebots prediction podcast, the first one in a while. I present to you the first bracket for Battlebots Champions. Uh, Coming out this Thursday, 8 p.m. Or earlier if you have Discovery Plus. And so pretty much if you're new to this, basically the plan is basically I will just go through each fight one by one. I do plan to go through rounds 2 and 3 as well. Share my prediction for what I think the outcome will be, and share some of my reasoning for it and whatever other gibberish I decide to talk about, at least during this. It should be fun, but yeah. If you like what you see, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button and absolutely comment down your predictions if you would like to. Lots of you like to comment predictions throughout the main competition every time I did these prediction videos, and I always love hearing what everyone has to say about the bracket, what their opinions are, what they believe the outcome will be, regardless if it's the same or different from what I have here. It's always fun to see, so absolutely I encourage stuff like that. So, we're going to go through each fight one by one. I'd say let's go ahead and just get started here. Rotator and Terror Tops at the top left, right there. So, that one, Rotator obviously was a round of 32 robot and then dropped to Copperhead, who eventually made the final four. Was a very close fight between the two of them. And then Terratops was not exactly in the main competition this year. They served as one of the alternate robots this year and managed to go 2-0 with wins over Slammo and Dragon King. Two fights that I found to be pretty enjoyable. I'm looking forward to this one because I think this is a good opponent for a Terratops. So regarding this one, my prediction is going to be Rotator for this one. Well, I really want to see Terratops take this one, and despite doing so well, at least during Fight Night and those two matches with Slammo and Dragon King, as well as their performance in Robo Games, which was after this stuff was filmed. Yeah, I just don't think Rotator's I just don't think Terratops' armor is gonna hold up that well to Rotator's spinner. I think we're likely gonna see a lot of parts flying in this one, quite a few sparks flying, and I think we're gonna see the Rotator win this one by KO. But yeah, that's kind of my stance on that one. Once again, I really want to see Terratops take this one just because I love that robot. That robot's awesome. And then getting to see it like get its forks underneath an opponent, lift it up in the air, and then just nail it with the vertical spinner, like what we saw, especially in the Slammo fight, was so much fun to see here. But I just don't think the armor's gonna hold up well to such a brutal horizontal spinner like Rotator, and I think this is going to be a Rotator victory, and they'll be going to the next round. So, right down below for the next one, we got Valkyrie and Ominous. Okay, so this one's a little bit harder to predict, in my opinion, because both robots missed the playoffs, very similar records, but I'd say Valkyrie was one you could probably argue maybe should have been in the bracket. I don't know what your stance is on it. I don't even remember what my stance would have been on it. I'd have to go back and rewatch the podcast analyzing the bracket. But anyway, as for this one, while I do feel Ominous is the underdog in this one, I am going to predict Ominous for this one. So with this one, I, I my reasoning for why I think Ominous will take this one, Ominous's first two fights, and even somewhat the fourth one as well, might not have looked that great. That fight number three, Ominous looked great in that one. And I'm curious what would have happened if Ominous wasn't having like technical issues, at least during the Shatter fight, at least from what I remember of it. It's been a while since I've seen that match, so I don't know if I'm thinking that through correctly. But like, if Ominous is able to do what they were doing to Switchback when those two fought, if they're able to do that to Valkyrie, I think Valkyrie is going to really struggle in this match. And I do think Ominous can take a few hits from Valkyrie because Valkyrie's reliability has absolutely been looking great this year. Like other than the fact that they lost their spinner like completely to Malice, I feel Valkyrie's been looking pretty good themselves. Like definitely the driving's been a little shaky, but like that's just what happens when you have a new driver running it like Lucy was. Like it takes practice and everything. Lucy would absolutely do a much better job driving Valkyrie than what I would probably ever do. So, but yeah, I kind of see this one being like if Ominous can take the hits well, which I think they can. I think Ominous is going to take this one and with a bunch of weapon on weapon shots. I think we're going to see a knockout by Ominous here. I kind of see like a similar outcome to like uh not ex well, I shouldn't, maybe a similar outcome to Malice at least, minus losing the spinner bit. Because we do know if Valkyrie takes some shots on the armor there, especially the armor near the wheels, it could Ominous could very easily jam up one of those tires. Because like what Malice was able to do when they fought Valkyrie was like when they were about to temporarily lose the spinner. Basically, they managed to land a hit right on the side armor, right up against the wheel, and jammed up that wheel, which is why Valkyrie only had drive on one side for quite a bit of that match. If Ominous can get to any of those weak points like that, I think Ominous will do some serious damage and will take this one. Let's move on to top right, Switchback and Kraken. That's that's gonna be a tough. That one was another tough one for me to predict right there. So both robots Switchback at top 32 robot before dropping one to Malice, and then Kraken, who unfortunately missed the bracket. But I still think this is a tough one because well, I do think Switchback has the better weapon between the two of them. I see Kraken as the faster and the more mobile robot. But this is still a tough one, at least, because I think the reason why I'm going Switchback with this one is not because Switchback had the better performance during the main competition between the two of them, but just like I feel a weapon on weapon exchange between these two would not go in Kraken's favor at all. And I think Kraken's going to have a really hard time, like, pinpointing, like, a good place to land a shot on Switchback with that hammer saw. I think the only ways they could probably do it without going weapon on weapon, probably tip Switchback over onto its side or its underside, and then strike any of those exposed areas. But I think definitely Switchback's driving abilities like are good enough to where I think they can absolutely stay face to face with Kraken and prevent that from happening and then landing a bunch of juicy shots of their own because that egg beater absolutely can do some serious damage. And I think we're gonna see a lot of that in this match here. So I'm gonna say Switchback takes this one. I'm gonna say by judge's decision though, because I think these two can absolutely take the shots from each other for the full 3 minutes, and I think it's gonna come down to who can control the match more between the two of them, and I think that's gonna be Switchback for this one. So my pick is Switchback, as I've already said. All right, bottom right, Shredit Bro and Scorpios. So. This one, I think a lot of you, when you saw this matchup, I'm gonna guess you're probably betting easy victory for Scorpios. I disagree with that. I think this one could be a lot closer of a fight than what a lot of people may imagine, at least. So I think what the big question is with this one is what version of Shredit Bro are we gonna see in this one? So are we gonna see the Shredit Bro that was definitely not working well in its first couple fights. Like, sure, it landed a nice shot on Ominous and Horizon early in both of those matches, but other than that, we didn't really see much from Shredit Bro. Like, it seemed to be really struggling from there. Or are we going to see the Shredit Bro that just came out of nowhere in the second half of the fight with Overhaul and just tore it up for the remainder of that match? Like, if we see that version of Shredit Bro, this robot could absolutely give Scorpios a huge run for its money. However, though, my pick is still going to be Scorpios for this one because of that inconsistency. Exactly. And I know while I might be going against that compared to like what I'm doing with like my ominous prediction right there, like I have less confidence in Shred it, bro. Like seeing that thing. Like I like plus not to mention though, it's not really that I have no confidence in Shred it, bro, because like I do I I do think Shredit Bro absolutely has the potential to do well and perform and pull up a serious upset. Because the other reason is like I think Scorpios absolutely could scoop up Shredit Bro pretty easily, and then who knows how much armor there is up on top there. Because Scorpios with that new spinner that they introduced last season, and then we're using this season as well. I think they could absolutely penetrate the top of Shredit Bro and get to something important there. If they can get underneath Shredit Bro, scoop it up, and prevent Shredit Bro from escaping. So yeah, my pick is gonna be Scorpios for this one because I like the frame of Shredit Bro here because I think it's gonna be like well the reason why I like it is I think it's like the perfect size for Scorpios to be able to do some serious damage to. And I think we're gonna see a lot of action from the veteran this one. I think I'm gonna say KO for this one as well, but I think it's good I think there's gonna be less than a minute left on the clock after this one. Yeah, so yeah, let's move on to round two. So yeah, here we are with round two. So my predictions for this Rotator, Ominous, Switchback, and Scorpios. And keep in mind these are just predictions. This is not the actual bracket. Like if we're gonna be talking about like actual bracket results, we'll be doing that in the episode review too. So plus I guarantee at least one of these will probably be wrong because like the competition's just that stiff. At least I've been saying that over and over again all season. At least several of these fights like definitely could go either direction. So let's talk about round two. So Rotator and Ominous. That I think could be a good fight at least, but so how I see this one going, I kind of see this one going similar to Rotator and Paratops with this one, but I think we'll see a little more action, at least from Ominous in this one. I think Ominous could send Rotator flying a few times, but I think Rotator absolutely has the durability to take quite a few of those shots, and I think we could see those forks in action for Rotator in this one, because basically, what I'm saying there with that one is what I could see is Rotier going with the same strategy that they were using against Black Dragon previous season, because I don't think Ominous has the reach to where I think they could like send Rotator flying without getting underneath Rotator if Rotator was to point the forks towards Ominous. So I think if Rotator goes with that strategy, gets the forks underneath, which I think they would have the ground game advantage in this case, and then like spin and maybe strike like the other side, even the Omni wheels possibly. I think they could do some serious damage to Ominous in this one. And I just think it's going to be too much for Ominous, at least in that case. And so I think it's going to be Rotator advancing in this one. I'm probably going to say KO once again for this one. I'd probably say like minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that. But I got Rotator advancing to the next round. So okay, other one. We got Switchback and Scorpios. So this one could be an interesting one here. So basically, this is good. This would be a really unusual design to see Scorpios taking on, at least for this one. I imagine Scorpios will probably go with their anti-vertical spinner armor for this one, just because then because I bet they'll probably try and because Switchback's probably going to try and win the ground game in this one, and then send Scorpios flying, flip it possibly onto their backside, and control the match that way, and so on. So I think this is going to be a difficult one for Scorpios because Scorpios, I feel, is another robot where I don't think they'd want to go weapon on weapon with Switchback here. So I imagine Zach Lytle's probably going to try to outdrive Greg in this one and try and flip over Switchback and possibly maybe strike any of those exposed areas, similar to what I was talking about with Switchback and Kraken, with how I think Kraken might try to tackle this one. But yeah, I just think it'd be really risky for Scorpios to go weapon on weapon and switchback. It might benefit them. I could absolutely be wrong about that. Yeah, I just feel like that's a safer route for Zach and Diane. But who knows what they would have up their mind if they were going to be if they were to take on Switchback in this upcoming episode. But regardless, though, I like Scorpios in this one. I think they can absolutely take a bunch of shots from Switchback because Scorpios' durability has been just second to none, at least in all these seasons and so on. And I think if they can I think if they can get the upper hand early on, I think Scorpios will absolutely like, deliver the knockout blow to switch back and take this one by KO. So, yeah, I have Scorpios joining Rotator in the finals. So, let's go ahead and move on to the final. So yeah, here is what I have in the final. I have a rematch between Rotator and Scorpios, 2018. If you don't know when that happened, Rotator managed to win that by a pretty destructive judge's decision, and one of probably one of my top five favorite fights from the 2018 season. So I got a rematch between Rotator and Scorpios. The big difference there is Scorpios obviously new blades, new front armor configuration. And then Rotator, on the other hand, rather than going two spinners, they got one spinner and force. So both of these robots have evolved a lot since they fought last in 2018, assuming this happens. Because, like, keep in mind, these are just predictions once again. Like, I'd be shocked if I have a perfect bracket up to this point. But yeah, so as for my prediction for this one, I imagine Rotator will just keep it plain and simple, go with forks and undercutter. Scorpios, I'm not sure what configuration they go with for this one. They could go with the anti-vertical spinner configuration for this one, and which counter the forks really well, or go with their base front configuration, counter the spinner well. I would probably predict the anti-vert armor, but like I just don't know. I think they could go with either one, but yeah. As for this one, Rotator is gonna be my pick for this one. This is a difficult one. I imagine what we're gonna see here. I think we're gonna see a 3 minute brawl between these two robots. I think we're gonna see a judge's decision in between these two, but I think Rotator just has a bit of an advantage with the fact that they have forks on one side and the horizontal undercutter on the other one, and I imagine they kind of have a weapon to counter whatever front armor configuration Scorpios goes with. Because we could see Rotator simply go with like the strategy that I think they'd go with if they fought Ominous, where use the forks to high center Scorpios up a bit, and then land a hit to the underside or wheels or whatever with the horizontal spinner. Or we could just see Rotator go face to face with Scorpios with the spinner. So similar to kind of what we were seeing when they first fought, which Rotator obviously didn't have forks for that one. But yeah, so I think we're going to see a lot of sparks flying in this one. I think we're going to see a very close judge's decision. I think if this fight happens, I think this will be a really good fight, one for the ages, at least. So I think what we're going to see here, I think we're going to see Rotator do some serious damage to the frame of Scorpios, and I think that's going to result in it winning by judge's decision. But regardless, I think it would be a really close fight if these two fought again, and one that I'd really enjoy. Because the other thing that comes to mind, at least, is this is the very first episode of Battlebots Champions. Keep in mind what we saw last year in the first Battlebots Champions episode, where we saw Hypershock just absolutely wreck everyone in their path in that one. Let's see, there was Duck, Valkyrie, Mad Catter, and then Gigabyte. My point being, when comparing this, is I think they're going to they tend to start things off with a banger episode, at least. And I imagine if these two were to fight, like this would be an absolutely banger match. So, yep, my prediction is going to be Rotator in this one, but I think it'll be great either way. So, yeah, let's go ahead and see the final prediction. So yeah, here are my final predictions where I have Rotator advancing to the Golden Bolt tourney, to take on Sawblaze, Tantrum, Endgame, and the other four robots that make it to the bracket for that Golden Bolt. So yeah, a lot of tough cookies in this bracket. Because yeah, I see we got Rotator, Terratops, Valkyrie, Ominous, Switchback, Kraken, Shredit Bro, Scorpios. All 8 of these robots, like lots of these definitely have the potential to do so, and then quite a few others definitely have the potential to sneak in there and pull off a major underdog story in this one. So, but we'll see. I think this will be an exciting first episode of Battlebots Champions, and hopefully it'll be exciting for you all as well whenever you get the chance to watch it. So, I think that'll do it for this one. So, thanks for tuning into this video. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed, and be sure to comment down below your predictions. Always love hearing what everyone has to say, and it should be an exciting first episode, I think. Be sure to tune in for it. There are plans in the works to do an episode review, so yeah. Plan is to try to record those things at least on Sunday nights, just because I'm busy with my college schedule, and then get it out sometime during the week before the second Battlebots Champions episode comes out. So yeah, thanks for tuning in once again, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.